Palestina. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We are boycotting for Palestina. Don't buy your dates from Israel. We are divesting for Palestina. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We are divesting for Palestina. Stop selling arms to Israel. We call for sanctions, sanctions on Israel. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We call for sanctions, sanctions on Israel. Grab it now, 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 now.
Often there'll be 20 or 30 riders welcoming them in. This sense of support to each other and the community we created is absolutely wonderful, right?
This year, not only has it been the largest big one I've ever witnessed, it's also been the most diverse. People of all ages, all colours, all abilities, I should say. You know, people have ridden on a hand bike and they've passed me on the bloody mountain.
Justice never seems so good. So good, so good, so good. Join the big ride. Dum, dum, dum. Make a change because we should. 2, 3, 4. Free Palestine. Dum, dum, dum. Justice never seems so good. So good, so good, so good.
What do you stand for?
What do you stand for?
Shall we tell them?
This is what we're doing.
Cycling for Palestine.
We're cycling for Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
End the occupation.
End the occupation.
Illegal occupation.
Illegal occupation.
If they don't hear us,
And if they don't hear us,
sing a little louder.
we sing a little louder.
So everywhere we go,
Everywhere we go,
people always ask us,
people always ask us, what?
Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We are cycling for Palestina to end apartheid Israel. We are boycotting for Palestina. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We are boycotting for Palestina. Don't buy your dates.
I was terrified. I've never cycled more than 20 miles. So 120 miles from Swindon to London was pushing it, but you know, I was like, let's keep going. And the reason why I found out about the big ride was through Cowgirls. And I found out about them because I, looked them up online. I just moved to Bristol and I was like, these guys seem alright, And yeah, in terms of the ride, the people are so lovely. I cannot thank you all enough. I may have had some kind of battle scars, battle wounds, but goodness, it was so worth it. And another thing was the food. The food is amazing. So can I have a huge round of applause for the food? And it reminded me a lot of my grandmother, who sadly passed away due to the virus very suddenly. And she was Pakistani, and she may have been my step-grandmother, but she had a very strong place in my heart. And I think it's events like this where people come together and it fills my little heart. And I'm so glad that each one of you are part of this. And it's events like this where you feel that closeness, you feel that sense of community, and it's incredible. So yeah, thank you all, and
free, free,
Palestine!
viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, free, free.
with the big ride, but we had a meeting on Tuesday, 12:30, with our local MP, Meg Hillier, who's really to the right of the majority of people in Hackney, and it was all about Palestine. And she was told in no uncertain terms that Israel is a racist state. Now, that's not really the narrative that's pushed by the establishment, and everyone gets accused of being anti-Semitic if they accuse Israel of being a racist state, all right? But we're all anti-Zionist. However, everybody at that meeting, there were about 27 Hackney constituents there, told her, and the anger was palpable, all right, how badly Palestinians are being treated, and the message got home, all right, and we said, and I told her, in fact, that this is not a matter of opinion, because Israel passed the so-called Nation-State Act on the 19th of July 2018, which states in Section 1, Paragraph C, that I'm quoting, national determination in the State of Israel is unique to the Jewish people, unquote. All right, so this excludes the Druze, the Bedouin, the Arameans, and the Palestinians, all right? And so she took that on board, that Israel is a racist state, and we should all go back to our constituencies and tell our local MPs that Israel is a racist state. What are they going to do about it? Which party do they represent? Why does their party have Labour?
Founded.
Right, this time you're going to do it. I want you to take your hands behind your back and interlock your hands, your fingers. And again, you're just going to extend down, because again, you're doing this. Now you want to do this, all right? So you're opposite from what we've been doing on our bikes.
Basically, I'm a volunteer there. But I thought I'd just very briefly, because I know you probably had enough, but thank you to all the previous speakers and the songs and to the band. That was all brilliant. Thank you so much. My dad had to escape Nazi-occupied Austria in 1938. He was actually a Catholic, but because his parents were Jewish, he was classified by the Nazis as a Jew. He was sent to a Jewish school where he was beaten up by the Jewish people, the Jewish kids, because he was a Catholic. But luckily, they escaped the Nazis. They came to England. They were kind of middle-class, fairly wealthy people. For Catholics in England, so the British government wouldn't let just any Jews to come to this country. They had to have jobs. You had to have a job here before you could escape the Nazis. And so my dad's parents had to get a job as servants in England before they could come to this country, and they were the lucky ones. And so my dad and his parents escaped the Nazis. So what am I doing here? I'm from Hackney, fucking multiracial Hackney. I'm an anti-racist and an anti-fascist. How can I not support Palestine? When I finally worked out what the fuck was going on in Israel-Palestine, how could I not support the Palestinians? How could I not be here with you all on the Palestine bike ride? There was...
My first ride. I'm very happy to be here. It's great seeing so many people. Jason's my brother and he's talked about this for a long time, and each year I chip in a fiver and don't think too much about it, but honestly, seeing out here, going by everyone in the street, the entrance to Luton, every single little kid that's waving along, that's planting those ideas that this struggle that we're fighting for, that we're all part of, is really, really important. And all these people, when I hear back in the day there was only a few people, I don't know, making it from, where did you go the first time, like Scotland to London or whatever? I don't know. It's a lot more organised this time. The food has been amazing, the people are amazing. Everyone's really fast and I should have trained more, but we made it. It's 3 days down, I could do it.
Part of the Eastern Cowgirls. We are a football team in Eastern Bristol. We have brought a little team here today from the Eastern Cowgirls and the Cowboys. For us, the connection to Palestine is old. We've been going back and forth to Palestine for quite a number of years. We've played football in Palestine with both the men's teams and the women's teams. We've played the female national team, I believe, and lost quite badly. They did beat us. But what has been amazing has been the hospitality we have received going to Palestine on our trips.
Looks like. Tell me what apartheid looks like. This is what apartheid looks like. Tell me what apartheid looks like. This is what apartheid looks like. Tell me what apartheid looks like. This is what apartheid looks like. Tell me what apartheid looks like. This is what apartheid looks like. My name is Shabunala Hadley. I am the chair of the Oxford District Labour Party. I'm also the councillor of Barton and Sand Hills. I was born in South Africa, so I know what apartheid looks like. The Palestinian people have endured years of oppression from the racist regime of Israel, endorsed by its allies who have no regard for human life. This injustice has been going on for far too long.
Free Palestine! Oh.
So the first year I did it, myself and Jason over here, we were some of the only ones representing the youth contingent in this country. Now, I want everyone to take a look around at the faces, because this is the most age-diverse Big Ride for Palestine we have ever had, and that's phenomenal. And it's not just the Big Ride for Palestine. It feels like recently, young people have started to not just join in the conversation, but take the lead in the conversation. They've started using social media and online platforms to mobilise and get their friends and families to mobilise too. With the tragic bombings in Gaza that we've seen recently, what we have heard come out of that are young Palestinian voices like the Al-Kurd siblings who have shared their experiences of their homes being torn down and illegally stolen from them in Jerusalem. Now, when these experiences and videos and photos are shared en masse on social media, we take back control, and the world cannot turn away.
Absolutely great atmosphere and fantastic spirit. And the number of people who volunteered to be human signposts was wonderful. On day one, we were struggling a bit. Day two, we just had so many human signposts. And I guess in relation to the evenings, it's a big thank you for your tolerance and understanding for how it all works. Because trying to get over 2
Palestine!
Palestine! Palestine!
Palestine will be free from the river to the sea.
Remember, this country actually was founded in Palestine.
We live a very, very harsh reality. Back home in Nazareth, people, we are seen as Israelis. We have many names, so I can be Palestinian living inside Israel, 48 Palestinian. Palestinians see me as Israeli, Israelis see me as like a Hamas supporter. It's really very, very confusing. But there's one thing that's for sure I know, that Israel is not a democratic state and it's an apartheid.